this, then you are a nonprofit leader or you aspire to be one. And I want to say congratulations. Those of you who know me know that I am passionate, committed, sold out for helping and assisting those of you who have a desire to start, grow, and sustain your nonprofit business. So, welcome to this opportunity to learn. Welcome to this opportunity to just really reflect and take action. If you are listening to this or watching it, then you are an action taker. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to be talking today about donor acquisition. I know that for many of us, the challenge is, Jen, we don't have enough money. I mean, I probably get 15, 20 calls a week from clients saying to me, Jen, we need money. We need money for operations. We need money for materials and supplies. We need money to support our program and just to operate generally. I know that for many of you, the thought of being paid as an executive director and being able to support yourselves while you do the work of serving your community seems far-fetched. Why? Because many of us are just really paying for everything out of our pocket. And I tirelessly am taking on the challenge and the mantle to really help those of you, particularly the startups, for those of you who have never had experience with really being fully funded or received funds on a regular basis to help you offset the expenses. There are real expenses to run your organization. And so today we want to talk about how do we put together a plan and a strategy to ensure that we have the resources and the funds on an ongoing basis so that our financial needs and we have the ability to deliver a program that is impactful and overseen by quality staff to ensure that the program continues, okay? So we're gonna talk about donors and donor acquisition. Now, when I talk about donors, I'm speaking about people who give on a one-time basis. Those would be annual donors, or on a regular basis, those might be monthly donors, or those major donors, right? Those are the individuals who give at a major significant amount. That could be anything from $1,000, it could be $500, just depending on who you are in relationship with currently. Those numbers change and grow, right? That's the whole point, is for it to grow. So when we're talking about donors, we're talking about people who have made a decision to support your organization with their resource, right? Be it with cash, be it in kind, and in some way they have stepped forward and they say, we believe in what you do. We believe in what you do and we want to see it continue. And because they are committed, this is the key. You now want to reward those individuals. You want to thank them for their joining you, right? They're joining you not as a staff person, not as a volunteer, possibly not as someone within the organization, but they are giving you the resources and the means by which to operate, okay? So our donors are important. And one of the things that I want you to remember is people give to people. People give to people. All right. So when you're looking at your nonprofit organization, the people, the donors, the contributors, those that would sponsor what you do, they give to people. So what does that mean? That means you've got to build relationships. That means you've got to let them know in some way what you do, why what you do is important, and reach them in a way that is of interest to them. Now, this is where I find that a lot of the breakdown in the fundraising realm is that we think our nonprofit is first, right? And while it is, we do a great work, and people possibly know us by the work that we do, but we've got to build relationships, people to people. And so when we now are out meeting individuals, and we don't know if they're a potential donor or not until we talk to them, right? So we're always asking, who is a prospective donor? I say everybody. I say everybody should be given the opportunity to give and support your organization. I'm going to say that again. Everyone should be given the opportunity to support the great work that you do. All right. So how do we connect? How do we identify? How do we go about the conversation to see if these people, random people in the grocery store, random people at our places of worship, or someone that we meet at a networking event, right? There are three ways. I call them the three C's. We want to connect. We want to identify what they're concerned about, and are they sharing the same concern as we are? And also capacity. All right. So when you're looking about or thinking about donors, I want you to think about these three things: connect, concern, and capacity. All right. Those three things. The first thing is you want to find out, who do I connect with, right? Who are my potential donors and how do I connect with them? When we're in these networking meetings, when we're being introduced to someone, possibly from a board member, when we meet someone out and we've learned who they are and what they do, and we feel that we possibly could be a great asset to what they do as vice versa, we want to first connect, right? So we want to connect around, what do they know about your organization? What do they know about the problem that you are solving? You want to connect around, who do you know mutually that could vouch for who you are, or vice versa, for them to give you an idea of who this person is and why this person may be someone that we want to continue a conversation with. Never or rarely does someone walk up to you, shake your hand, and say, "Hello, my name is Jennifer. Would you like to give our organization $5,000? No, that's not how it happens. We want to know, how do we connect? Now, the number one thing that I want you guys to think about are, how are all the ways that your organization is set up for connections? All right. How are you as an organization set up for connections? Now, I know you are set up to do your program. I know you're set up so that you are able to say, we're going to have an event, we're going to have our program in certain locations, but are you also setting up to connect with individuals? Because that's where money comes from. That's where partnerships come from. And these are our torchbearers, okay? These are our prospective torchbearers. So you want to examine, are you set up to connect? One way that you want to be able to connect and acquire interest, acquire information, donor acquisition. You want to find out if these individuals would be ideal donors, and if you would be an organization that is benefited not only by their money, but that you can benefit them by achieving what it is that you're setting out to do. Let me say that again. Not only do we benefit from donors, but we also are a benefit to the donors. They feel good about supporting an organization that's really connected with them and not just walking around with their hand out, right? So you want to be able to connect. The first way that you want to be able to connect is through your board. Now, these are individuals that are a part of your organization in a leadership role. I cannot tell you how many ways and how many times I have had to go in and train board members about their role and responsibility of helping organizations connect with the community, right? So I want you guys to think about, what ways and opportunities and how often do you and your board go through their connections and try to figure out, where do their connections or your connections meet around a common concern? When I talk about concern, I mean, what do they know about the problem that you're solving? What do they know about your organization as the solution? What do they know about the possibilities and the probability of the change that is happening as a result of your program, right? That's the concern. I give to an organization because I also am concerned about the homeless issue. I give to an organization because I'm also concerned about young people who don't have mentors. And I want to be a part of that solution. So I am concerned about that. I'm connected now to an organization that meets my concern, and I share my capacity. You see how those three C's work? Concern, capacity, and connection, right? So you want to say, how many ways are you giving your board opportunities to share in that connection? I can tell you that if your organization is not, let me just say this, I'm going to be positive. If your board is unclear about why they are connected. Now they may love you, right? Because many of us have gone out and picked board members that may not have had the as strong of an opportunity to support our organizations as possible. You want to make sure that you are equipping your board with the information around impact and knowledge about your program, so that they can take that information out and connect with their community. All right. Please assess your board, assess how they want to make connections. Not everyone is comfortable, making the ask, but everyone can be a part of the connection process. Okay. Everyone can be a part of that. Your staff, your volunteers, your interns, your board members, everyone can be a part of connecting to businesses, connecting to individuals, connecting to foundations, connecting to organizations for partnerships and collaborations. Everyone should be a part of this process. Okay. So I want you guys to really examine how many ways and how often are you affording your organization to exercise connections. Okay, connections. The next thing is that you want to give your community an opportunity to come and take a tour. Listen, they want to see what you are doing up close. Can you imagine that you have asked an individual for money or support or time or some kind of resource, right? But can you imagine if they were actually able to see the result of the work that you do up close? Can you imagine them, instead of just saying, I want to do a backpack drive? You guys know how I feel about backpacks, right? Doing a backpack drive as opposed to just asking for the donor to drop off the backpacks. How about asking those potential or prospective donors to come and help you fill the backpacks? How about putting a note inside the backpacks? How about being a part of distributing the backpacks with you, right? Because now they get a chance to not only give to your organization, but they get to see up close what your organization does. And so these individuals are able to ask questions, they're able to become more informed, and they feel a part of it. They feel as if you're not just out there for their money, all right? So I want you to think about, how are you cultivating these individuals to make them become, or to acquire their interest, their interest, and to see how relevant your organization is. Okay. So donor acquisition is not just going out and grabbing donors, it's grabbing their attention. It's letting them know that you both are concerned about the same thing and how your organization is the solution. And a great way for them to become quickly connected to your organization is through some type of relationship through your board or through a tour. They really get to see it up close. I used to, I recommend to my leaders that at least you do 1 or 2 tours a month, right? You guys are very, very busy. You all are doing different types of programs. Schedule twice a month. Twice a month, it could be 2 hours a month. 2 hours a month where you're inviting the community, come and take a tour, right? Meet the executive director. See the program if that's appropriate in existence. Let them hear and see the faces up close of the people that you're serving. This is going to garner more interest. This is going to enable them to ask more questions, and for you to learn more about them. What do they know about your organization? What was it that would inspire them to join a cause? All right, not just give money, but join in the effort of impact and solution. Through their support, through the resources that they share, you're able to continue your work on an ongoing basis. Isn't that wonderful? See how that works? Another way to acquire new donors, we all know that we use social media. Listen, social media is an amazing way to get the attention of our donors, but we want to be very strategic. It's easier to raise money in your community than it is to raise money on the World Wide Web. But if we're going to use the World Wide Web, okay, let us be clear about what it is that we're sharing. I find that many people, share all kinds of events, share dates and save the dates. But I tell my leaders, I want you to spend more time talking about the problem. Share the importance. Share how this problem is impacting your community. Share how your organization is the solution. Share testimonials. Show the before and after, right? So, what is it that you are sharing that is, again, attracting the three C's, connecting with those who are coming to your page? Drawing out of them through the engagement how they are concerned about what you're concerned about, right? And sharing the many ways that they could support. It's not just money, right? They could be an evangelist, they could be a sharer, they could be someone who gives in kind, and cash is going to come when there's impact shared. Okay, 98% of your donors give because of impact. So you want to make sure that you're sharing impact, and relate that impact to your community. Okay. And that's going to awaken an interest in your community to find out how they can be a part of the solution that your organization is. You guys know I say it all the time. You are a solution. All right. I want you guys to know that the work that you do in this realm of donor acquisition is very strategic. And it doesn't need to take a lot of time. It does not need to take a lot of time. Now, I know that for many of you, you wear lots of hats, right? You're the executive director, you're the program manager, you're the volunteer coordinator, you're the events planner, you're the community relations person, and you're doing the financing and the budget and the buying and the spending. All of those things happen, right? So you want to make sure that you are taking sufficient time to really structure that time that's necessary to engage your community. Because the truth is this: without your community input, without them becoming torchbearers and evangelists on top of your on behalf of your organization, then you're stuck doing all of this on your own. All right, you're stuck doing this all on your own. So I want you guys to be inspired. Don't be afraid of introducing what you do to others. Don't be afraid to let others know how they can be a part of it, either through volunteering, either through internships, through sharing information on your social media. There are lots of ways for them to be engaged. Now, the more they are engaged, the more ownership they feel. Okay, so you don't move from just having an event, giving me a gift, and then asking for them to continue. You want to acquire their interest. You want to acquire their buy-in. You want to acquire their desire to see your organization grow and continue. All right, this is the quickest way to get from an introduction to a gift. Is that you want to acquire their interest. You want to know what it is that they're interested in. You want to know what they believe. You want to know what they tend to support. You want to have this type of knowledge that when you're building relationships and you're identifying what's important to them, you can filter that into the conversation, and it's not all about you. You guys know what it's like to be in a relationship and all the person talks about is themselves, right? All they talk about is themselves and what they need and what they want. Your donors don't want to feel like a walking checkbook. All right. You want to acquire a solid relationship. You want to acquire the support. You want to acquire their passion for what you do. All right. So when you're out engaging with your community, it's not about money. I mean, obviously we need money, but money is not a shortage. I want you to examine, how are you putting into practice systems and ways and opportunities for your community to acquire interest? Now, we say donor acquisition because obviously that's a term when we say, how many donors have we acquired? How many people have we added to our list, right? But how do we add them to our list? How do they become regular donors? How do they become monthly donors? How do they become major donors? Because we've acquired their interest, right? We've gotten in front of them and we've piqued their interest. We've met the areas of connection that they have. And we're communicating to them in a way where they feel hopeful, they feel clear, they feel potential and possibility and probability on how they can make a difference, join you in making a difference as it relates to your organization. Donor acquisition is just getting the attention and acquiring their trust, acquiring them as a partner. That takes work. That takes intentionality. You know, when you're in any kind of relationship, it's not just, hey, I meet, like we did in kindergarten. We met our best friend the first day. We met our best friend the first day, right? But even through the disagreements, even through, the ups and downs on the playground, we learned about each other. We grew things, and there were things we had in common, and there were mutual likes and dislikes that we found out about each other, and that brought us closer, right? Even to those two. I have friends now that I've had since I was a child. So you want to make sure that you are building and establishing relationships that are going to last a while for you as a nonprofit organization. All right. Don't think about transaction. Transaction is, I need $20, I need $10, and then they give you that. No, we want to acquire long-term relationships. We want to cultivate, and we want to be intentional about not just talking about what we need, but also finding out what is it that our donors are interested in. If you lead with the questions of what do you know about our organization, or what do you know about this need in the community, or you ask for referrals, right? These are people that possibly are in an area of business or have some type of relationship or influence or leadership in the community, and you're going to them saying, you may not know, or I'd like to share with you more, and I would like your input. I would love to know what you think. Now that's going to cause them to have to inquire more information about you before they can make that referral, right? Before they lead you somewhere or tell you somewhere to go or refer a name, they're going to need to know more about you. So use that as a tool. Use that as a tool to just really give. I always say, you're educating, you're inspiring, you're informing, you're influencing, you're giving people the opportunity to know more about what you do. The more people know about what you do, the more they want to learn about what you do. And after they want to learn more about what you do, they want to be a part of what you do. Okay, so the donor acquisition process is becoming more familiar, strengthening that knowledge, clarifying any questions. All right, now I listen. I know this may sound like, oh my God, Jen, that sounds like it's going to take forever, but it doesn't. I promise it doesn't. It takes intentionality and it takes interest, right? We want our donors to be interested in what we're doing. We want them to be interested for the long haul. Once this program continues to go on and on and on, we want that interest to grow. And the more people who are interested in what we do, the more people who share in helping us acquire more people who are interested in what we do. They become then torchbearers. They then become people who are able to share our impact because we've given them an up close look. We've invited them to come and be a part of, or to see, or to volunteer at our organization. And so they're now able to go out and share with their network, their relationships, how great our organizations are, right? So this is a process by which I want you guys to really examine. It doesn't take a lot of time. Listen, if you guys did 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, all right, 30 minutes a day, what would you be doing in those 30 minutes a day? 30 minutes a day of making phone calls and introductions. 30 minutes, right? Do that once a week. Once a week, all you do is call and make introductions. Possibly you met someone at a networking event, or possibly you heard, or your board member or someone that you met as a colleague referred you to someone else, right? You all switch names and, texting back and forth each other or emailing back and forth. So once a week, 30 minutes, schedule coffee, right? 30 minutes, that's it. The next thing would be, think strategically how you can invite and involve your community. It doesn't have to be the entire community. I'm not talking about doing a whole nother event, but how about inviting some of the dignitaries? How about inviting some of those influencers, those individuals who who are decision makers, right? Inviting them to come and be a part of your organization and to see it and to ask questions, right? To involve them in some way. I tell you guys all the time, we are not takers, we're givers. We are givers. And we want to make sure that we're giving our community an opportunity to learn about what we do, to learn about the value of what we do, and to learn about how they can be a part of it. The more that we do this, the more acquired interest we will have, the more acquired commitment we will have, and the more acquired time they will give in donating and volunteering and contributing and evangelizing on behalf of our organization. All right, guys, listen, donor acquisition is so important. Just as important as it is your program, because the more people we know, the more people who are likely to support the work that we do join us in making sure that we are implementing as impactful a program as possible. And I promise you, this is not difficult. I promise you, it is absolutely possible. The things that I do with my leaders is I put them on the steps and the strategies of doing it. And not only do they do it, we also get their board involved, because the more people who are doing this process, the more people we're able to reach. The more people we're able to reach, the more people who are interested and wanting to support what we do. That's how donors grow. That's how donations grow, right? Donor acquisition means more donations. All right. Donations come from donors. I know that's very basic. It's very simple. Right? And so we want to make sure that you guys are very clear about this very simple process. I promise you, it's not difficult. And I promise you, you don't have anything to be afraid of, right? All we're doing is talking about our organization. All we're doing is talking about how wonderful our organization is. All we're doing is inviting people to learn more about the great work that we do. All we're doing is sharing how our organization is a solution. All we're doing is finding out, what do people know about our organization and what would they like to know about it. All we're doing is sharing how our mission matters, not only to the lives of the people who are in our program, but also to the community. All right, guys, don't be afraid of donor acquisition. Don't be afraid of the word donor. Don't be afraid to ask, what do you know about our organization? Or what do you know about the problem in our community? What do you know about the article that was written in the local paper? And did you know that our organization is here to combat that problem? All right. What do you know about our board? What do you know about me as a leader? What do you know about the people that we serve and what happens to them after they leave our organization? Now, if you lead in a way where you're connecting with them, all right, you're connecting with them, and asking them for money does not necessarily mean it's a connection, right? Because we want that connection to be so deep that they want to continue to give. So you want to have the conversation. And again, it's just a conversation. We're not going out begging for money. We're having a conversation. We're having a conversation. All right. We're having a conversation. And in this conversation, we're asking, how could we be connected? You know, what are you concerned about? And how can we assure you that we also are concerned about that very same thing? And how our organization, in our capacity of serving our audience, that's what we do. And we're looking for others in the community to join us. The more capacity we have, the more people we're able to serve, and the stronger our community becomes because of all of us taking an interest in this problem and being a part of the solution. Now, didn't that sound easy? Come on now. Donor acquisition. It's fun, guys. You get an opportunity to brag. You get an opportunity to talk about your commitment, your passion, your desire to help people. You are a solution. All right. I say that all the time and I mean it. I'm never going to stop saying it. You are a solution. So let's start having the conversation with our community. Let's start giving and equipping our board to have that very same conversation. This is one of the things that, I really stress with my leaders is I show them exactly what that process looks like, and we can grow your donations quickly. The more people that we acquire, the more donations we're able to cash. And with that, we're able to serve more people and to afford more impact. Okay. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this session. I hope that there was something that was inspiring and compelling and light bulbs going off all over the place. I want you to know that this work that you do is so important and that you now have the skill set, have the confidence, have the knowledge, have the strategy of plan of donor acquisition. It is a plan. It is a process, but it's done quickly. I promise you. It doesn't take weeks, months, and years. You do it right. You do it right, and you can get an immediate results. Let me say this lastly. You do it right, and people will come to you and ask, what can I do to help? You do this right, that when you have the face-to-face conversation, your name beats you to the door, right? Your organization's name and mission beat you to the door, so that when you're walking in, people are talking about you. People are impressed by the work that you do. People know about the problem and your organization as a solution. All right. Do not poo poo on the donor acquisition process, nor be afraid of it. All right. You guys are leaders and we are a solution. You are a solution. Your mission matters. Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming in and joining me today. I pray that something that I have said is said, I need to do that. And if you want to learn how, if you want to know more information, I'm always here to help. My clients come in, they come to me because they say, Jen, we need to acquire money. Then that means we got to acquire donors. And in order to acquire donors, we need to do this work, right? This is how it happens. This is how it happens on a regular basis so that you can have ongoing cash to operate on an ongoing basis. All right. Thank you guys so very much. I will see you next time. Bye.